Hello there, everyone. Silverbard here, and welcome to another Top 10 list. Well, the month of Halloween starts tomorrow, and as you can see, I'm already prepared for it. Okay, it's not all that scary. But next week, not only will I be doing Sulli-Ween, but I'll also be doing another top 10 list about villains. But this one is going to be about their songs. But the ones that are the most memorable and best are the animated villain songs, full of great build-up, fun visuals, and an atmosphere that makes them awesome to listen and watch. And that's what today's list is going to be. 5 from Disney and 5 from non-Disney. So get ready for my list of my top 10 favorite animated villain songs. Number 10. Don't Make Me Laugh, from The Pebble and the Penguin. The movie itself is pretty decent, as many of Don Bluth's films of the 90s. And the songs are quite memorable and a little catchy, and this is one of them. It turns out a female penguin named Marina is waiting for a male penguin named Hubie, who ends up getting lost at sea, in which another male penguin named Drake is trying to get Marina to marry him. But with Marina not wanting to marry him, Drake ends up laughing, thinking it's a joke, which leads him to singing the song. Just the way it shows is quite good. The changing of the colors that reflect the mood of the music, which is also quite good. From a dark and villainous beat to a colorful mambo tune, and then back again. Sure, the lyrics are kind of all over the place, but its tune and colorful setting is what paid it off for me. It has a pretty catchy beat to it all, and it's an underrated song that only Tim Curry could provide, and it somehow works. Number 9. Toxic Love, from Fern Gully. Speaking of Tim Curry, here's another song performed by him. And it's pretty hypnotizing with its smooth orchestration and fun lyrics. Zack ends up marking the tree that Hexus has been trapped in, and the lever cuts it down, releasing Hexus first as an oily glob of some kind, then a big black smoke with the energy from the machine. Thus he sings his song, which is enjoyable as any Tim Curry song. Well, almost. Many of the songs in the film have some annoyance to them, and they aren't the best part in my taste, but this one hits the spot. The imagery is fascinating, the tone is very hip, the lyrics are good, and Curry's vocals just nails it. It's a good villain song from a good non-Disney villain, and it's one I look forward to whenever I see this film. Number 8. Heffalumps Woozles, from The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. One of the very few times where the Sherman brothers wrote a villain song. In fact, for 2 villains in one movie. When being visited by Tigger, Pooh has been informed about 2 creatures, Heffalumps and Woozles, who mostly steal honey. And so Pooh tries to stay awake to protect his honey, but ends up falling asleep and dreams about the Heffalumps and Woozles stealing his honey, where the song actually begins. What's really enjoyable about this is how the creatures are described and shown, and how elaborate and colorful it all is. And it's a nightmare, but it's a really enjoyable one. Not to mention the lyrics. They're somewhat catchy and very fun to listen and recite. And I know I feel sorry for Pooh for having this dream, but it's just so good. It's all creative, it's all fun, it's all entertaining. It's Heffalumps and Woozles. It's a delightful little nightmare that should not be forgotten. Number 7. Playing with the Big Boys, from The Prince of Egypt. This movie is pretty underrated, and is a really good one that takes the story of Moses to an interesting and fascinating level. And the songs are really good too, especially this one. Moses, after living in the desert for so long, returns to Egypt to find that his brother, Ramesses, has become Pharaoh. But when Moses says that he wants his people to be free and states that it can show the power of God, Ramesses disbelieves it and has the high priest show the power of his God, which begins the song. It brings out lots of mystery and quite a sense of awe with the beginning, but like most villain songs, it slowly builds up to a big finish. But it's all presented as a magic show. Disney would do something similar in the Pocahontas sequel with the song Things Are Not What They Appear, but it doesn't have the same feel as this one. That, and the movie isn't all that interesting. But back to Prince of Egypt. Whether you like the film or not, this song is as brilliant as any in the film. The change in lighting, the pace and mood of the music, the fine lyrics sung by Steve Martin and Martin Short, it's really quite amazing. It's one of the film's finest songs from a truly underrated flick. Number 6. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, from Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I was first adamant about putting this one on because it's also a Christmas song. But the more I thought about it, it still works as a villain song. Since the Grinch hates Christmas and wants to get rid of it, he has his wonderful, awful idea, and it's all set to this song. It's very much like Heffalumps Woozles, where there's descriptions about the character, and it has a fun tune and lyrics. But it's all one character, and the song advances the story. For while the Grinch is making his Santa suit and stealing the Christmas goodies any way he can, the lyrics tell how his teeth are like, how his skin is, how his brain and heart works, how he's compared to certain nasty creatures and objects, and it's pretty unpleasant, but it's all worth it. And there are other versions of the song too by different artists, from Jim Carrey to Tay Zadon, but the original version is one that I feel is the best. It's pretty unforgettable with its enjoyable lyrics from Dr. Seuss, the great vocals of Thor Ravenscroft, the fun music of Albert Hagg, and all centered around a villain that I love every Christmas season. Number 5. Poor Unfortunate Souls, from The Little Mermaid. Many of the songs in the film are pretty good, for the most part, but its villain song is pretty catchy and quite memorable. After King Triton destroys Ariel's stuff in her grotto, Flotsam and Jetsam take her to see Ursula to make her dreams come true, and so Ursula starts singing her song, which is pretty fun. Again, it starts out slow and then evolves into being a big, yet fast-paced and crazy fest. The quick edits, the change of color, the crazy look in Ursula's eyes, it's really out there. And Pat Carroll singing the whole time makes it a joy to get into. Interesting to note, originally Ursula's song was going to be called Silence is Golden, but it was replaced due to Howard Ashman disliking it. But its replacement is such an enjoyable experience, with a short break in the middle to tell the story, and then back to the song which advances the story. Though there are a lot of close-ups in between with Ursula, and it feels kind of awkward. But it's no biggie. It becomes fast-paced and crazy all the way up to Ariel becoming human. It's well-paced, it's crazy, it's big. What else is there? It's a really enjoyable villain song from a sea witch that's as crazy as her own sequence. Number 4. Be Prepared, from The Lion King. The music and songs in this film are definitely something to behold. They're presented in such a big scope that one viewing isn't enough. And this one's a good example. Since the hyenas fail in getting their food, Scar decides to help them and gain what they need, by ordering them to kill Mufasa so he can be king, and allow the hyenas to eat whatever they please. Which is how the song comes around. This one is worth mentioning based on how it's presented. The changing colors from green to red, the sly moves Scar makes among the hyenas, the controversial third right imagery, there's plenty to go over. As well as with having two actors doing the singing voice for Scar. For Jeremy Irons did start singing and sung most of it, but then Jim Cummings comes in for the climax of the song, since Irons couldn't make that pitch or his voice gave out. But whatever the reason, the song itself is still good. It has a proper climax, it has nice music and lyrics, it has good ways of presenting itself, and it's sung by a character which is really liked by many for some reason. It's a big villain song from a big animated Disney movie that is enjoyed by many, including myself. Number 3. Mine, Mine, Mine / Savages, from Pocahontas. Okay, this is a little cheating since they both include the heroes singing too. But since Governor Radcliffe is the main leader in these songs, I had no choice but to include them. Both are from the same movie, but each one is different. Mine, Mine, Mine shows Radcliffe ordering the settlers to dig for gold, while John Smith goes out exploring the wilderness. This one has a good setup and how it all builds up. It starts out nice, then slowly builds up until John comes in, and then continues to build up to a really good finish. Savages works the same way, except a little differently. showing Ratcliffe and the settlers and Chief Powhatan and the Indians preparing for battle, with John being sentenced to death by Powhatan and Pocahontas trying to set things right. This and its reprise has so much build-up that it becomes overload. In fact, both songs become overload due to their build-up. But both also have good animation, good lyrics, and great music and vocals. Even if you're not a fan of Disney's Pocahontas, these two villain songs are just one of the highlights that makes the movie a good watch any day. Number 2. In the Dark of the Night from Anastasia. As great as the songs are from this film, the one I put at the top would be this. Rasputin's reliquary begins glowing and descends towards his own underworld. Once Rasputin gets it, he realizes that the remaining Romanov Anastasia is still alive. Thus he sings a song, which is so grand and massive, with the chorus line being bugs. Just everything about the song feels energetic and fun. Its huge rocking tune, changes in dark colors, and Jim Cummings as the singing voice of Rasputin is a perfect fit. It has a dark and edgy feel to it all, but on such a huge and epic level. All leading to Rasputin's little green glowing demons emitting from his reliquary. Its lyrics are easy to follow and at times memorable to sing along, but it makes it worthwhile with the music. It has lots of moody colors, epic music, great vocals, all done in a huge and awesome sequence. It's another great song from another great villain. And my number 1 favorite animated villain song is Hellfire from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Some of the songs in this film are presented with a huge climax, but also have a huge build-up that is done pretty well, and this one is no exception. For after witnessing Esmeralda at the Festival of Fools, Judge Claude Frollo has become obsessed with her, and tries to fight between wanting her or killing her, which is how the song is played out. Not only does it present really great lighting, not only does it show a complex villain fighting his sin, not only does it have a great and huge climax, not only does it have Tony Jay singing it, but it's done in an epic and even darker level than Rasputin's song. And it's a great deal when the character hates gypsies yet is also wanting one of them for himself. It may be creepy and unsettling, but the song that goes with it addresses it with such power. Its atmosphere is heavy and brilliant, its lyrics are memorable and dark, its music is huge and operatic, its setting has great looks and color. It's just a great song. And I can definitely say that Hellfire is my favorite animated villain song. And that is it. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook or Twitter. And tune in next Wednesday for the month of Sulli-Ween.